and welcome to The Hindu. I'm Priyali Prakash and you're watching Tipping Point, a weekly series where we dive into climate change events and the trends shaping our future. In this week's episode, we'll take a look at deforestation in India, devastating floods in Central Europe, and a trade agreement to tackle climate change. In 2023, India lost 134,000 hectares of natural forest, according to an analysis by Global Forest Watch. This is a little more than the size of the entire Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. Out of this, 21.7 thousand hectares were primary forests, which is the most ecologically sensitive forest ecosystem. From 2002 to 2023, India lost more than 400,000 hectares of its primary forest cover. Since 2020, India has consistently lost over 20,000 hectares of its primary forests annually. This is important because there has been a lot of research that has shown that protecting forests that already exist is one of the best ways for us to reduce effects of climate change. Forests help remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. India also needs to pay more attention. Despite its ambitious targets to reach net zero emissions by 2070, India has a big climate ambition gap. Climate Action Tracker has rated India's net zero target comprehensiveness as poor. Most of India's tree cover loss is driven by deforestation. The rest of it is lost because of farmers that are expanding their farms to grow more crops and because of forest fires. Until September 16 this year, more than 25 lakh deforestation alerts were reported in India. In December 2023, the government amended India's Forest Conservation Act to make many changes. One of them basically changed the definition of forest under Indian laws. If a bunch of trees are no longer considered a forest, industrialists can cut them down more easily. In February 2024, the Indian Supreme Court passed an interim order in which it asked the government to continue using the dictionary meaning of forest until it could reach a final verdict. This was part of a case challenging the amended Forest Conservation Act. This week's tipping point extreme weather event is flooding in Central Europe, which is in the grip of a storm named Boris. Austria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Romania and Slovakia have all received heavy rain since Friday and 22 people have been killed so far. We'll know the true scale of the disaster only when the rains subside. In the Czech Republic, Boris cut off power to more than 60,000 homes. Local reports said that around 5,000 homes were damaged in Romania and the floods interrupted railway and metro services in parts of Austria. We don't currently know how Boris was affected by climate change. Scientists will figure that out in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, we already know some important things. First, Boris was most active in the proximity of the Mediterranean Sea, which is located south of Central Europe. There was an intense heat wave over the sea in the summer. Countries near the sea, especially Greece, Italy, Spain, France, and Morocco, experienced extreme heat during summer. And the scientists have already said this heat wave was made worse by climate change. The sea surface was warmer, which means more water would have evaporated from it, leading to more rain. To make things worse, an unusual weather system above Scandinavia brought a mass of cold Arctic air and strong winds south to Europe. As a result, snow formed on the Alps mountains range sooner this year. Weather experts also said this cold front would cause heavy rain across Central Europe, and we now know that they were right. Most thunderstorms form when a warm air system and a cool air system meet. It's possible that Boris was formed the same way. The city of St. Pölten in Austria received more rainfall in 5 days due to Boris than it received in the whole of the wettest autumn on record, which was back in 1950. The city also received the second highest daily amount of precipitation ever measured in Austria on September 15th. For this week's Climate Hope, let's take a look at a new agreement that has been finalized by Manuel Tovar, Minister of Foreign Trade of Costa Rica, Thordis Gylfadottir, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Iceland, Todd Maclay, Minister for Trade of New Zealand, and Guy Parmelon, Switzerland's Minister for Economic Affairs, Education and Research. This agreement aims to enhance economic opportunities while making climate change and sustainability challenges a focal point of the process. In July this year, New Zealand, Costa Rica, Switzerland, and Iceland finished their negotiations on the Agreement on Climate Change, Trade and Sustainability. The agreement plans to promote meaningful climate commitment instead of, as they said, sitting around in endless discussions. Once the agreement comes into force, the 4 countries will remove tariffs on 300 environmental goods like solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles, recycled paper, and wood products. This agreement also contains guidelines to regulate and eliminate subsidies for fossil fuels, but with some exceptions. Sweden's National Trade Board has hailed the pact as one of the first to seriously address climate issues. The 4 countries are expected to sign it next year and bring it into force. Thank you for watching. For more videos like this, please subscribe to The Hindu.